it's the Spirit Keepers, Emma and Siobhan. We're back for part 2 of the Devil Made Me Do It case. In this video, we're going to be talking about the murder of Alan Bono, and we're going to be talking about the murder trial and like the aftermath of that today. I'm also going to be putting the link for part 1 in the description below. So if you haven't watched that before this one, please go back and watch that ahead of time. We have a lot of good information about the setup to this murder, and like there's just a lot leading up to it that I think is important information for people to know. So check that one out first.
Yes, so let's get into the initial murder. It was February 16th, 1981, and Alan
Bono.
Oh, yeah, correct. Alan Bono, who was Debbie's boss. They worked at a kennel. There was the initial kennels where Debbie worked, and above the kennels was an apartment in which Alan lived. Arnie and Debbie and Alan and the kids were with them. They went out to like a bar restaurant. Alan had a lot to drink. The other people just had like pretty much a glass of wine. Were not heavily drinking. Alan just became very, very drunk. So they decided, okay, like it's time to leave. So they leave and go back to Debbie's work and go up to his apartment. And there, Alan starts acting more unusual and kind of just hostile. The more hostile Alan's getting, they look over and it seems like Arnie's also getting in a state of like he's like hissing and growling. So Debbie then tries to like diffuse the situation. She's like, okay, we're gonna leave. They go to try to leave, and Alan grabs the youngest daughter's hand, which is, I think she's 9.
Yeah,
and tries to get them to stay. So honestly, that is very, very creepy. Like out of line. So Arnie, being in an already irate state, takes him into the other room and they start fighting. Now at this point, no one knows like what's happening, and Arnie emerges with kind of a blank look, a blank stare, and he just like walks away. Doesn't say anything. Walks away. Walks into the woods. They go into the other room, and there's Alan, stabbed 5 times, the knife on the floor. The kids were later saying that no one wanted to touch the knife because it was glowing. I don't know if you've heard that.
I haven't heard that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's interesting.
So they called the police, and later on, Alan ended up dying, unfortunately, of stab wounds. They ended up finding Arnie 2 miles away, so he literally walked 2 miles away. They arrested him, brought him to the jailhouse, and people had to tell him what happened, because he did not remember.
But one thing I do find very interesting too is that this is the first murder in Brookfield, Connecticut. Like, there has been no accounts of a murder taking place in Brookfield, Connecticut until this happened.
Would like to know, like, Alan's previous behavior. Like, was he just a mean drunk, or could this have been something like one of the demons was attacking him to provoke Arnie? You know what I mean?
Yeah. The day after Arnie ended up in jail, the Warrens ended up calling the police and telling them everything that had happened, and they truly believed that he was possessed when this murder happened. They're getting ready for the trial to start, and Martin Manila was Arnie Johnson's lawyer. And he started, once the Warrens told the police that they believed Arnie was possessed, they ended up receiving calls from all over the world about the case. Martin actually ended up going to England to talk to lawyers about similar cases that they had dealt with in England. He also reached out to priests in Europe who were aware of the exorcism, and he actually threatened the priests to cooperate with the case because they were very hesitant about being involved in it.
Yeah, whenever stuff like that happens, it's like the priest in the Amityville, him basically like being like, oh, no, nothing ever happened. The church basically calls, like, they basically call you up and they're like, shut up or you're done. So it's like the credibility of them saying something didn't happen, like, I don't even use that as evidence.
The trial begins, and Arne pleads not guilty on the basis of possession. And this is the first time in U.S. history that anyone has ever pled not guilty because they believe that they were possessed and actually tried to use that in a trial. The judge told them that they couldn't use possession as a reason to plead not guilty because any evidence that was shown in the court had to be something that had to be things that were scientifically proven to be accurate. So, and obviously possessions, you can't scientifically prove that to be true. So they end up deciding to go with not guilty on the basis of self-defense instead. I don't know all the details to, like, what evidence they gave. There, like, really isn't that much detail on, like, how the trial went itself. Like, there really isn't that much information out there about it. But we found out that it took the jury 15 hours and 3 days to come to their consensus. And they believe that Arne Johnson is guilty of first-degree manslaughter. However, here's the part that makes me believe that they must have had a really strong case for self-defense. Mm-hmm. Instead of it being like a life sentence or a longer sentence, it was only 10 to 20 years. And on top of that, he only ended up being in jail for 5 years due to good behavior. That really makes me think that they must have had a really strong case for self-defense.
I agree.
They must have. That's the only way I feel like he could have gone off that easily.
And just the funny thing about Arne Johnson is before that, like, I don't think he had a record.
Yeah,
like,
no.
And he didn't get in, like, one fight in prison, nothing. Like, great behavior. Like, it's very weird that, like, I don't know, a man with no history stabbed somebody 5 times. The oldest son, Carl, has tried to sue the Warrens for basically ruining his life, even though he has in his eyes, a very successful construction business. But he says that they're exploiting his brother David, and he tried to sue. I don't know where this lawsuit took them. I don't think he won. I feel like we would have heard of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he claims it was a hoax, but Arne and Debbie have said, like, him and their father has not been around. So, like, they were always off doing something, so they didn't experience the same stuff that David and Arne and the rest of the family experienced. I believe it's true.
Yeah, I definitely believe it's true. I don't know. Like I said, I could be wrong. Who knows? But they seem pretty genuine. Also, a lot of people, I mean, you can disagree with me all you want, but a lot of people give Ed and Lorraine Warren a lot of because they make a lot of money off of their cases and stuff, and they're like, oh, you're exploiting this family and all that stuff. But in their defense, though, they have to make money somehow. This is like their job. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, you can't, and like they had a daughter, like they couldn't just not just sit there and like do things for free. Like, you gotta pay the bills somehow, and like if this is their job, like, I mean,
and this scary stuff didn't even become popular until way after. So it's like, I don't know, like, I don't think they like were sitting around in the 70s like, you know what's gonna make us a ton of money? Like, ghost stories.
Yay!
I mean, like I said, we may not ever truly know what happened, but I think they have a very solid story for possession, in my opinion.
Yeah, so if you guys have any questions, please let us know.
Yeah.
Because we would love to do a Q&A video on this.
Yeah, that would be really cool. But yeah, we're gonna be doing some more ghost hunting cases from here on. We did one at a haunted park, and we also did one about the legend of the Turk Man in Glenville, New York. So we have a couple of different ghost hunting ones that are coming up after this one, and then we're going to do some more cases. But please subscribe, like, share, tell your friends, and
comment.
I hope you guys have a good rest of your day and a good holiday, and we will see you guys soon.
See you next time.
Bye. Bye.